Hey everyone, it's Tracy Martirana here from Holistic Wellness with Tracy. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do another herbal spotlight. So today I decided to talk to you about ginger. Ginger is widely used in a lot of Indian and Asian cuisine. However, its great taste isn't all it has going for it. Ginger is full of herbal goodness, and I'm here to tell you all about it. First, let's talk about what ginger is. This is what ginger is. When you see or hear anybody talk about fresh ginger, they will usually refer to it as ginger root. Now, just to be a stickler, it technically isn't a root, it's a rhizome, but that is sort of splitting hairs. So since most people call it the root, we're gonna call it the root. This is how you buy it in the grocery store. I don't know if you can see it real well. It's got just this sort of thin skin. So when you buy it and bring it home, you can wash it, you can peel it. I often, when I use it to cook with, will peel it, grate it with my microplane into my food. It's actually easiest to grate if it's already frozen. So when I get a big piece like this, what I'll do is I'll peel the whole thing. I'll take part of this and chunk it up into little tiny pieces that I will use later to make ginger tea. And then I keep a couple chunks nice and big because that makes it easier to grate with the microplane. When it's frozen, it grates so much easier than when it's fresh. I know you sort of wouldn't think that to be true, but it is. I learned that tip from Rachel Ray because this, you put it in your fridge, it won't take only a handful of days before this starts to sort of dry and shrivel up. But if you peel it and put it in a Ziploc bag and stick it in your freezer, it can last for months. If you don't have the fresh root handy, most of us do have this dried ginger powder in our spice racks. If you don't, get some. You should have some. I use this a lot in salad dressings, but most of the time, if given the choice, I will use the fresh root over the dried. If you want to learn more about why I would choose fresh root over dried, especially through the lens of Ayurveda, visit my blog post. I will put the link down below in the description box. And as we sit here, it's worth mentioning that I am enjoying a cup of sort of very weak ginger tea because ginger can be pretty hot and potent. I actually like it a little on the weak side because I feel like that just tastes better. It doesn't overpower my mouth. But I made this really easy. In my freezer, I have a Ziploc bag with little pieces of frozen ginger root. I took a tablespoon of those little pieces. I put them into my small French press. I added some boiling water. I let it sit for maybe a minute or two. I stirred it around, and then I pressed out the pieces, poured it into my mug, added a little bit of lemon juice, and voila, I have a delicious and just refreshing and yummy evening drink. Really, it's an anytime drink. Let's talk herbal benefits, because really that's why we're here, right? The number one reason I love ginger is because of its effects on the digestive system. Ginger stimulates digestion. It can calm an upset stomach. It decreases nausea. It can calm bloating and gas. It's just overall good for the gut. In addition to being such a great benefit to the digestive system, it's also a warming herb. So if you are in sort of a season where it's cold outside, or maybe you're just a cold-blooded person, or maybe it's cold and flu season and you feel like maybe you're coming down with something, a hot cup of ginger tea is exactly what you need, because not only is the tea warm, but the herb, the benefit, the energetic qualities of the herb are also warming. So it soothes the soul and warms you from head to toe. And the third reason I love ginger is its effects on your lungs and your sinuses. If you have cold symptoms or if it's allergy season, ginger is great at opening up your lungs and your sinuses, right? It relieves the congestion, gets things moving. It's that pungent quality, just clears things up. So whether it's your stomach, whether it's cold and flu, whether it's allergies, ginger is just a very multi-purpose herb, which makes it really high up on my list of herbs that I love because you can use it for so many things. I love an herb that I can keep on hand and treat multiple different issues with it. Just makes life easier. I mentioned quickly when I was talking about digestion, the nausea part. I wanted to reiterate this because a lot of people will use ginger for things like motion sickness, or if you suffer from migraines and you tend to get nausea with your migraines, ginger can also help with that. So if you suffer any sort of motion sickness or nausea from migraines, give it a try, see how it works for you. If you're not overly familiar with ginger, let me just give you a little bit of warning on the taste because it is strong. It is very pungent, and for many people, it's considered to be quite spicy, which is one reason, even though I have a high tolerance for spice, it's one reason why I like my ginger tea to be fairly weak, because I don't like it to overpower my taste buds in a way that I can't recover from quickly. And therefore, if you're cooking with ginger, if you're adding it in like a stir fry or a salad dressing, or really any sort of dish that feels sort of Asian or Indian inspired, if you're not familiar with the flavor and you're not familiar with cooking with it, start small. Use just a little bit because you can always add more later, but if you add too much, it will indeed overpower the dish. So if you're ready to try your hand at using ginger, here's a couple ways that I would recommend doing it. Grab yourself a chunk of fresh ginger from the market. Do what I said, peel it, take part of it, chunk it up into small pieces, leave one piece whole. Then the next time you're cooking something like a stir fry, or you're maybe making something Asian and you want a salad to go with it, you can make a ginger, like an orange ginger dressing. Take some of that, take that big chunk of ginger, microplane a little bit of it into a bowl, add some orange juice, maybe a little salt and pepper, a little garlic, add a little bit of olive oil, and you'll have a delicious sort of orange vinaigrette to add to your salad. So eating it is a great way to enjoy the benefits of it, to allow your digestive system to get the benefits of it. The second way to use ginger is in tea. Take those little chunks that you put in the freezer, put them in a cup, pour some hot water over them. You don't even have to strain them out. They'll kind of float to the bottom, and so just drink carefully. You can leave the ginger floating right in there, have some fresh ginger tea. If you don't have fresh ginger, but you still want to try some ginger tea, and you have some of this in your spice rack, just a little pinch in your cup with some boiling water, let it cool down to like a drinkable temperature. It'll be delicious. Again, it will calm your stomach. If you know you're going to be eating a heavy meal, or your stomach has just felt a little off and you just feel like you're not digesting properly, before you eat, about 15 or 20 minutes before you eat, take that fresh ginger, take a really thin slice, nice and thin, as thin as you can possibly get, paper thin if possible. Sprinkle a little bit of salt on it, maybe take a little wedge of lime, squeeze a little lime juice on it, pop it in your mouth, eat it. It will be spicy, but that will stimulate your digestion. So try that about 15-20 minutes before you're going to eat your meal and see if that helps. And then if you do eat a big meal, ending your meal with some ginger is also a great idea. Again, you can do a cup of ginger tea after a meal, but my favorite way to get ginger is my triple ginger cookies. I am going to release a video in a couple weeks with that recipe, so I highly suggest, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss that video. But once it's out, I will come back and add it down into the description box below so you can find it there as well. And lastly, I do have to mention a couple things, a little disclaimer, if you will. Ginger is overall a very safe herb. However, just like most other herbs, you can't overdo it. Well, you can overdo it. You shouldn't overdo it. That's what I'm trying to say. Ginger should really be taken as food or as tea. You can drink a couple cups of tea, you can cook with it, you can eat some cookies, it'll all be good. But more than that is never necessary. There is no reason to take ginger as a supplement. So you should never have to take ginger in capsules. You shouldn't ingest a ginger essential oil. You shouldn't even like a ginger tincture. I don't know. I'm sure someone would make them. I'm sure the idea of making one for maybe a stomach upset or motion sickness, it's too much. You don't need that much ginger, and you should probably avoid that much ginger. Again, it's hot and pungent. So for one, a little bit soothes the digestive system. Too much is probably going to aggravate your digestive system. Anything that hot and spicy, like that kind of quantity, it's probably not a good idea. If it would hurt to eat that much, you shouldn't take it in capsule form either. And high levels of ginger can actually affect your insulin levels. So people with diabetes, again, should be careful not to overdo. Probably not going to have an issue drinking a couple cups of tea or eating a couple cookies, but you wouldn't want to do anything excessive because it could cause issues. And just like any medicine, any herb, any food, ginger has the ability to cause allergic reactions. So if you are not sure if you've ever had ginger before, be a little cautious the first time you try it, because you never know, you could be allergic. And if you think you're having an allergic reaction, call 911. As always, use common sense when it comes to all herbal remedies. Try things, small amounts, see how you feel. If it doesn't feel good, don't take more. Try something different. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I hope you're going to bring ginger into your herbal apothecary. I think you'll find it has lots of uses and many benefits. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great day.